Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, SXE Blues, and this is going to be a little news update video. Some topics and stories that I've accumulated over the last couple of weeks that maybe you intrepid viewers haven't run into yourself. Since I haven't done a video like this in a long time, and I've had a lot of stories built up that I wanted to pass along eventually, I figured I'd do one of these. So, hope you'll join me, and let's jump right in. The first story I want to mention has to do with DC Comics. For anyone having lived under a rock over the last, I don't know, 6 months to a year, DC Comics has gone through an entire reboot. They're calling it the New 52. All of their characters, all of their comics have been basically retconned all the way back to issue number 1 for a lot of their characters. Some have been completely erased from history, some have just been, shifted somewhere else, and for all intents and purposes, they've all been brought back to square one as far as, the world being introduced to them, as well as them being introduced to each other, and we have yet to see what kind of changes will unfold. But what this story has to do with from comicbookmovie.com, and links for all the stories I'll be talking about will be in the description below, a comic shop with a religious owner has decided to boycott the sale of Action Comics number 1, the chief Superman title from DC and the New 52 reboot, because of one panel in the comic where Superman's basically getting the wind knocked out of him, and the little, quote bubble says the letters GD. Now, this particular comic shop owner was apparently under the egregious idea that this was actually an abbreviation for a certain, blasphemy term, and that's a little ridiculous. But I like how in the second half, the writer of the piece, thanks Grant Morrison, has basically explained what that GD actually meant, and just one of those days, ridiculous news. The second thing I want to mention is that Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol has a new teaser trailer out, or rather teaser poster, not trailer. But this poster, in case you have ever wondered what Tom Cruise's face would look like in a extreme close-up with numbers all over it, then you should click on the article and check it out. Otherwise, if you've seen enough of close-ups of Tom Cruise's face, feel free to skip it. But because I'm interested in the Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol movie itself, I thought I'd mention it. In Bond 23 news, Anna Araujo, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, is potentially being eyed to be cast as the new Bond girl. Now, I don't know anything about this woman other than the fact that she's a model, and I don't know if she has any acting experience, but she does kind of give me a Halle Berry-ish vibe to her look, and, if she can actually act and will complement the piece, I have no problem with it. Also, in Bond 23 news, Adele, the musician, maybe kind of hinted around that she might be working on a Bond 23 theme. Based on, what I've heard of her, I actually am kind of excited about this. Works for me, basically, in a nutshell. Two Star Trek related things that I want to talk about is there's this thing from The Invisible Agent showing a 1966 Star Trek pilot pitch in the form of what must have been like a glossy folder type book, and it had, images and text about what Star Trek would be about. With the 45th anniversary of the very first airing of Star Trek, I'm a little late, a couple days late with this story, but it's really cool to look at. A piece of history, basically, memorialized, if you will, but a really cool look at what they were probably kind of hoping Star Trek would be, as opposed to what it ended up becoming, and of course the changes that were made and everything like that. Just really cool. Also, for anyone who may or may not be fans of Star Trek Vanguard, the novel series, which, if you've seen a couple of my previous videos, I am head over heels for that series. There's a really cool podcast interview that was taken at a convention, or something to that effect, with the primary writers of the latest release, which was Vanguard Declassified, and they're talking basically about the future of the series. Unfortunately, it only has 2 more books to go to make a complete 8 in the set, and those will be released one later this year, as well as one early to mid next, and those will be the last 2 Vanguard books. So the Vanguard saga is coming to an end, sadly, But the good news, if you check out this, I think just under an hour long podcast, is that it's actually not something that's being done for financial reasons or, something like that. This is actually something that was part of the grand scheme of the writers behind the Vanguard series. So, take from it what you will. I would be remiss if I didn't mention any Blues Brothers news, because though I am not completely and entirely under the thumb of all things Blues Brothers, I still am a big Blues Brothers fan, so I would be remiss, as I say, if I didn't mention this story, and that is from the HollywoodReporter.com, talking about how John Belushi's widow, Judith Belushi-Pisano, has been kind of, trying to get an idea across for a new TV pilot based on the Blues Brothers. According to this article, it would see the young days of Jake and Elwood, presumably just out of prison, searching for, I believe, Jake's biological father or something to that effect. And, from the get-go, it sounds like an interesting project. I want to wait till I hear a little more, see where they might be going with it. And I just want to put it out there. I'll be waiting for my call because I'd love to be involved. Haha. But Back to the Future 2015 sneaks. Yes, that's right. According to the Facebook Back to the Future page, Nike, I believe it is, has produced these 2015 version from Back to the Future 2 Nike Air Mag sneakers that you may recall Michael J. Fox wearing in the film with the sort of automatic, tying apparatus and everything. And, anyone who's a fan of the Back to the Future films would pretty much look at those and be, envious of something like that. I remember as a kid I was definitely like, I want a pair of those. And so now, apparently, 1,500 lucky buyers around the world are going to be able to own a pair of these sneakers. I find it very interesting. You should go check out the Facebook page to see images of what exactly they look like and everything. They look pretty snazzy. In other news, from IO9.com, Beetlejuice may be getting a sequel. Where do I stand on a Beetlejuice 2 type of movie? The only cast member from the original Beetlejuice that I would actually fight head over heels to not go forward unless he's attached is Michael Keaton. Bring him back as Beetlejuice, no other actors playing him, because frankly, I really wouldn't get into it if it were anyone else playing the role. As for Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis and Winona Ryder and that type of thing, whatever, do what you want, cameos, whatever. I don't know if you want to make them the central plot line necessarily. Maybe this should be a whole new story where Beetlejuice is the primary character, but, new adventure, new plane of existence, something like that. Moving back to comic news, for anyone who's interested, the character of Powergirl, there's been some controversy from Powergirl fans that it looks like she was written out because primarily the JSA, that's Justice Society of America, seemed to have been entirely written out of the New 52, although there has been recent news that there's actually going to be a spin-off Earth 2 alternate universe version of the JSA. But in fact, Powergirl will be a part of the Mr. Terrific #1 issue or line of issues, as it were. So, take from that what you will if you're a comic book fan, if you like Powergirl or not. Apparently, some of their bigger named characters are still going to be playing roles in the issues that are coming out, the new 52 #1s that are going to be coming out. But I guess it's anyone's guess where everyone might crop up as per this story. Going over to comicbookmovie.com once again, there's actually a preliminary image of Martha Kent on the set of Man of Steel. And it's not really a great image, but for anyone who really wants to be spoiled and try to get an idea of what's going on with the filming and everything, I think it's interesting and notable for that reason. In Dark Knight Rises news, Marion Cotillard, I don't know if that's how her name is pronounced, is proclaiming that her character is not going to be a comics-based character. So this may or may not squash rumors of her playing Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, depending on your pronunciation preference. But, this could still be another curveball. One of the long-standing rumors is that Joseph Gordon-Levitt may actually be playing the Joker again in place of Heath Ledger, that his character might actually be the Joker, and we might have a Harley Quinn, we might have a Robin. There's tons of different rumors. Take from it what you will. I really have no opinion on it. I think it could be a curveball, designed to make everyone think one thing and then they'll do another. So check out the article if you're following Dark Knight Rises rumors and things like that. The last three things that I want to mention are actually a little less entertainment and a little more science and nature related, because I just dig that kind of thing. All three stories are from io9.com. The first one is actually an image-related story, and the last one will be an image-related story as well. Suffice to say, these are interesting images. The first article is showing an image of two black holes essentially going cannibal on each other. I made a little joke on my Facebook page when I originally found the article, like about a week ago. Looks like we have a space-themed breakfast cereal campaign up and coming. The second article from io9.com that I want to mention may or may not give us some insight into whether being gay, as so many claim, is a choice or not. The story is about, of all things, gay finches, birds that apparently have homosexual relationships and are true to each other for life in most cases. I think it's very intriguing and, something that for anyone who is gay, I don't see a problem with it. And I think this is adequate enough proof that nature here gives us an example of, the hearsay and the finger pointing and everything like that is really just all, no pun intended, cock and bull. So the last thing I'd like to mention is, as I say, another image from io9.com, noted as possibly being the most beautiful photo of Saturn ever taken. And it really is a breathtaking image. It's arguable whether it was, digitally modified in any way, shape, or form, but the article says it wasn't. And it's just a really beautiful image of Saturn, and the sun behind it, as it says, dancing off its rings and things like that. And just a really beautiful image. And for me personally, proof of life, proof of the awe and mystery and all the things that, are worth living for. So that'll be pretty much it for all the news that I wanted to mention, all the things I found of interest. I hope some of it, if not all of it, was interesting to you as well. Be sure to, comment and share your thoughts and ideas on all these stories if you have any. And thanks very much for watching. So hope you're all doing well, and I will catch you later. Peace.